Okay, today we're going to make chocolate chip cookies. These are not the Cannon Club chocolate chip cookies, but these are a larger version of our chocolate chip cookies. But first thing I want to talk about is actually two things. Is number one, a term called mise en place, which means everything in place. It's a French term meaning everything in place, and I like to measure all my ingredients out before I actually put them in the mixing bowl or I go to cook, because this way everything's ready for me. I don't have to go, oh, I forgot the eggs, or I didn't weigh the butter, or measure out the brown sugar. It's all ready for me, ready to go. So this is a very important step, because this way, as you're doing the recipe, everything will go in. The second thing I want to show you is how to separate an egg. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just crack an egg in here. So because we need, in our recipe, we need one egg plus one egg yolk. So what I'm going to do here is I take my egg, I crack it, and I'm going to use each half just to take the white off. And you can see I'm left with just the yolk. And in it goes. And then we'll discard this. So that gives us an egg plus an egg yolk. So that completes our recipe here. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cream our butter and our sugar. Now, your butter needs to be room temperature, because this way it's easier to cream and it will take all the sugar in. There's our brown sugar and our white sugar. Now this is a traditional or a classic technique called creaming, where you cream the butter and the sugar together. You're going to find that a lot of cookies and a lot of some quick breads and things like that use this technique called the creaming method. So what you want to do is make sure everything is creamed together. We're going to have a little bit of noise here. Now, as you can see, the butter is soft, but it's really cold out today, so I'm going to just use my hands to warm the bowl so the butter and the sugar come together and cream together really well. And you're starting to see it come together nicely. Now you want to do this, you want to cream the butter and the sugar for about 3 or 4 minutes, just to make sure that the sugar is all the way through. You see how it all came together now? Now we're just going to finish it and let it come all the way through. Okay, so the next step with the creaming method is we're going to add our eggs. Again, this is one whole egg and one egg yolk. So you want to do it while it's mixing. Just put them in. Now you don't want to mix them too much, because you don't want to incorporate too much air. And you want to make sure it's homogeneous all the way through. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to measure out flour. There is a technique to measuring out flour. Now you don't want to just scoop it, because what happens is it gets pushed inside and gets squished. So what you want to do is you want to spoon it into your cup. So our recipe calls for 2.5 cups. I'll get a larger spoon here. 2.5 cups, and you just scrape off the top. 1. Again, just let it fall into your measuring cup. 2. Okay, so there's our flour. That's how we measure that. So what's left is our flour, our vanilla, our chocolate chips / chunks, baking soda, cornstarch, and salt. So the first thing we're going to do is put our soda, salt together with our flour. We're going to pour our vanilla in. Turn our speed down so the flour doesn't go all over the place. Pour the flour in. And as it's coming together, as you can see, it's starting to come together. Just before it's done, we're going to pour in our chocolate chip / chunks. And that's just going to finish it. Now in this instance, you don't want to mix it too much, because the more you mix the flour, the more toughness or gluten you'll produce. So you see it's just coming together, and we're done. And that's our chocolate chip cookie dough. Next we'll go into scooping, portioning, and baking. Okay, so here you see our dough. I scraped the bowl and the beater down a little bit. We're going to use what's called a disher or an ice cream scoop. This is a larger one. You want to make sure that you're evenly portioned so each one cooks the same. What we're going to do is just take a nice scoop, Scoop it out. We're going to put it on here. So this is going to make anywhere from 7 to 10 cookies. Okay, I'll scoop just 4 so we can move on. And the one thing I wanted to show you is that after they're scooped, you want to make sure they're just like a little disc and just flatten them out. Now the more you work it, the more uniform it's going to be. If you just smush them out like this, it's going to give you a more home look. Okay. Now we're baking on parchment paper here. This way it doesn't stick to the pan. All right, and you can see the difference in the two types of cookies. So I'm going to finish scooping these with our ice cream scoop, and then it's going to go into a 325-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to put our cookies in the oven, 325, and we're going to bake them for 20 minutes. Okay, so our cookies are out of the oven. Nice and crispy on the outside, nice and tender on the inside. Chocolate chips, chocolate chunks. Oh yeah. You could replace some of the chocolate chips with some mini M&Ms, crushed up candy bars. The idea behind this is to be able to do a basic cookie dough using the creaming method. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm now going to enjoy some cookie. Have a great day.